the life force of your bond. A power like life itself, unseen for generations. A dyad in the force.
How's it going, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Dyad in the Force. I am Element.
And I am Choco.
And together...
No, I got asked my chat, aren't you the guy that boofed a wine bottle? I don't know what that means. I'm not comfortable with it. No.
What is boofed?
I don't know, but listen, sometimes questions get you more trouble than they're worth, you know?
How's it going, Conspiracy Cantina? DePaulo in the chat. People on the TikTok side. Charlie Zard, Joseph, Cub Coast, Cal4, Master James. Today's episode is brought to you by me and Choco.
Chat is working. It's working.
And, of course, today's episode is about, you guessed it, guess who's
Bad Batch back.
back again. Bad Batch is back with the season premiere of 3 episodes. You can watch our reaction on the YouTubes in full, or not in full, but you'll get some of our opinions on it. But hopefully you guys have watched it. We did say in our recent reaction our rankings for this premiere, and I think I gave it a solid 8, I believe, if I remember.
That's what you originally said. I did my pitch for it, and then my pitch made you raise yours to 9.
Oh, so okay. So I granted you some stuff, and I was like 9.
No.
So that was like my 6 months to a year, right?
Yep.
You know I was right about that, right? Because I did say 6 months first. And then I jokingly said to a year.
Sure.
Right? Where are you going? How's it going, Blue Eagle Gamer? Greetings with a solid premiere. Absolutely. James Stevens jumps to YouTube. GB Camaro says, howdy y'all. And Lothal Young says hi.
Okay. I was going to ask if people could hear me because I pulled the thing up and it said no audio source. I was like, word? But it's back. It's back.
Young, you're supposed to be on this episode, aren't you? Did you get confirmation, Choco?
Yeah. No.
Choco, where are you? You're not centered. Do you see where you are on the stage?
I am. I'm literally making adjustments right now. I need you to calm down.
No, there is. I will not enhance my calm. Lowrider says hello there. What's up, Lowrider? Joseph Barron's still hung up on the Will of the Force stuff. Yeah, I know. We'll continue that conversation. Don't worry. Jane Zara, what's something wholly original you'd like to see in Star Wars? Wholly original. I don't know if anything is wholly original. Everything is inspired by something.
Wholly original. So Boba Fett picks. I don't know.
Even that's not original, though. Something they haven't done or even hinted at. Haven't done. Listen.
Star Wars Slice of Life.
Oh, are we talking genre?
My mind went to genre because that's the only thing I can do. That's just how I'm choosing to interpret it.
Let's see.
What is the? Sorry, what's the link that
/studio
you're using nowadays? /studio.
Whatever you want. Oh, well, Blue Eagle Gamer says a Star Wars isekai. I mean, Star Wars is already isekai.
No. But you could have someone in our world die and then reincarnate into Star Wars.
Yeah, that's true. Okay. I'll make this quick. I don't want to linger on this too much. I'd say what they haven't done or even hinted at is giving us the Jedi Sith War.
Hello, Dara?
The entirety of the war. Because we've had allusions to it since Legends, canon, allusions to the schism. Well, no, we have schism, but I don't like that story. But essentially, the Jedi Sith War is largely alluded to, especially in SOTOR. But we never get the actual war. We never participate in it. We never see it. But welcoming to the stage, welcoming to the podcast is our friend
Fit.
Lothal Youngling. Hello, Young.
Hi, guys.
How are you?
I'm alive. Sorry.
You're alive?
I got really sick on Wednesday, and I'm like, I don't know, it's like settled right here, but I don't have like a wet cough. It's very strange. I don't know.
Oh, so you have like the Asian flu?
Fuck if I know. All I know is that I'm sick, and I had to miss work, and I was really upset about it because I had so much to do that day.
Ooh.
And I like never call in for work, so.
Well, why don't you introduce yourself to everyone that's watching and where they can find you?
Hi, I'm here. That's about as much you guys getting out of me. Hi, I am Lothal Youngling. You can find me on TikTok at Lothal Youngling. I really just do word vomits because I can't really contribute anything else because I don't know how to edit. And I also realize I do not have the soul of a critic. So it's very hard for me to contribute critiquing things.
Listen, I think you have the soul of someone that can critically love Hunter.
That isn't even in the realm of like anything sane anymore. Let's be real here.
Hey, I think everyone appreciates a glass of wine and some rants about the Bad Batch. I think it's completely fine.
It's not even rants. It's like full on hopping onto tables, potentially breaking said table and screaming in people's faces.
Hey, content is content.
That's true. It's true. And also, I think you have a lot more to say about things than the vast majority. So I always appreciate it. And also, drunken rants are amazing. That's how we became friends with Miss Angie.
Are so much fun.
I still need you to meet Miss Angie because I think you would love her.
They're both coming to the Dyad Con.
Oh,
Yes.
Yay.
So
I'm so excited for that. So many people are going to be there.
Yeah, and it's only 2 months away.
I'm fucking stoked, man. Cheyenne, Marianne, and Ellie and I are already trying to figure out what we're going to wear for Star Wars night. Also, if Nick is on, or Elizabeth, or if they end up seeing this later on, thank you so fucking much for helping us all get those tickets. Good
just
God.
Being the goats.
Absolutely. We do have plans for them. Don't you worry.
Okay,
We
good.
got plans. We got something cooking. Justin Farron says it's about cosmic force having the will. Like, yeah, plants have a will, but that's more with the living. So the cosmic force doesn't have a will. The living force does. The will of the living force. The cosmic force is just something that connects the living across the cosmos. But other than that, there's no science here that can accurately tell us what exactly is happening. So I'm gonna
I actually would say the opposite. Living force is the thing that connects and binds everyone. It's what's generated by people who are alive, and then once you die, that part goes into the collective, which is into the cosmic force, and then the living force is replenished out of the cosmic force. But
So we are Legion.
pretty much, yeah.
Okay.
You know what is I found funny though, because I've been doing some more research into the origins of Star Wars, of where all this stuff came from, like the actual timeline. And what I didn't realize is when what's his name? When Chair Inway says, "May the force of others be with you," I didn't realize that was the original. Actually, the phrase, that was just a random religious phrase that George put inside the old manuscripts before the force was a thing. And then when it became a thing, it was always referred to as the force of others.
That's a good one. It's a good piece of trivia. Young? Just kidding.
I was about to say, again, I got nothing to contribute to any of this. I feel like this is a continuation from your pre-show on TikTok, so sorry about that.
No, it's okay. It's okay. I was just busting your spot. Let's go with, before we go into the Bad Batch 1, 2, 3, let's go with Master James's initial question on YouTube. What was your favorite moment in the recent Bad Batch episode? Out of like the 30,000 she has going through her mind.
Okay, so I'm gonna pick one that's heartbreaking, one that I think we all thought was heartbreaking, one that I thought was two that I thought were really funny, and like just a longer portion. So heartbreaking one, Prison Lula. Oh my god, I almost died. Especially if any of you guys follow the Kiner brothers, or sorry, not Kiner brothers, the Kiner siblings on Twitter.
Yeah.
They like to be super unhinged and post cryptic tweets the night before, and they posted like a straw doll. It's like voodoo. We're doing voodoo already in the first episode. Just like, no, this is gonna be a really like heartwarming scene. And then I saw Prison Lula, and I almost died. Died. And then with Dee saying this is symbolizing her childhood and connection to her brothers, I'm like, Dee, we cannot keep adding salt to this wound. And then I don't know why they did this, but I guess they tried to give poor Hunter some semblance of happiness in this first couple of in the first episode that he was in. That whole goofy running thing, cartoon. What was that? That was so funny. And then
that was just for you.
Oh, I suppose it was. I'm like, why? They've never done something as goofy as that before. I'm like, I loved it. Like, the fuck is happening? And then when Omega just got rid of some of her pent-up anger and frustration by kicking that mouse droid out of the tournament. That was so funny. Yeah. And also when she shot the kennel droid, like she double tapped it, and that was personal, okay? She had spice with that. Yeah. And then like overall, I'm not gonna lie, I think it was when Crosshair's like, why the fuck do you keep coming down here? Like, and you can't come after me, you can't take me with you, and slow down any of your potential escape plans. Yeah. I'm not worth it. I deserve to be in here. And Omega just looks at him and he's like, or just like, no one deserves to be in here. And I think that was the first time Crosshair felt like he could be redeemed for all that he had done. Because again, we do have to remember that he did say aim for the kid. Pretty sure he's still at his chip at that time, but it's like
yeah. And then
that's just it. That was right before, that was on Braca, right? The shipyard. And everyone thinks he lost it after his brain got fried.
Yeah, because of that incident.
But I'm wondering if it actually happened earlier in like episode 2 or 3, the second time we see him coming out of the CT MRI scanner thingy. And I'm wondering if they removed it then because they were able to, they thought that they had him in the bag essentially. Because the Brad and Jennifer did say it's very apparent when it happens, but if you look at the burn, it's pretty far back on his head. It's more here as opposed to near the temple where all the other clones' incisions are. His scar is way the fuck back here. So I don't know.
Yeah, it's well, they never really confirmed for us.
Exactly.
Which is-
So there's like, but they're like, you'll know. Like, I've watched this so many times, I still can't figure it out. Damn it.
Well, I know I can answer for Choco. His favorite moment in the Bad Batch is seeping toilet. Did you watch our reaction?
No, I'm sorry.
That's okay. No. The very first scene opened with that sink with like that was just had a slow dribble, and I was like, you gotta see a doctor about that. And then from then on, every time I went back there, it would focus on that, like, and it just kept coming up.
Well, I thought that's actually how she was going to escape. Like, she realized, like, I could use the plumbing to get out of here. That's why I thought they kept zooming in on that.
I was thinking something similar. I was thinking maybe it's dripping because she like put something in the plumbing and was hiding it.
Yeah.
And that Lula was just a distraction. So you'll look at this contraband so you don't find the other. But no, sadly.
Yeah, I think we got caught up in our own Chekhovs there. I think we were like we were seeing so many Chekhov's guns that we were like, that's another one. But I think what that dripping thing represented, I guess in the larger narrative, was just the slow crawl of time and the lapse that we went through. I think it was 4 or 5
4 months, 125 days, according to the official Star Wars accounts.
Oh, okay. We counted the tallies.
That's what I was going to do. I was going to pause it, but then the morning I was going to do it, Star Wars is like 125 days. I'm like, oh, that's really sad. Also, there was another, I'm sure you guys have already seen the meme, but it's like, haha, remember when counting used to be fun? And it showed from season 1 their tallies and their barracks of successful missions, and then her prison tallies. You're just like, jail.
Yeah. I have to agree. One of my favorite moments, of course, was Omega kicking the mouse droid, because I didn't really think that she was going to do that.
I was actually like, oh, go ahead.
I was also thinking of MSE and Men from a certain point of view, how Tarkin and that stormtrooper used the mouse droid to deliver love notes from each other. That story is so weird that I don't know.
No, that story. Yeah.
Cal asks, Young, how are you feeling today? I think you answered this, but just for posterity.
I'm here. Still definitely sick, and it's like settled in my chest, but I don't have like a bad cough, and I'm not like uber congested, but I'm definitely still sick, and I'm just like, this is so fucking inconvenient. But I'm good. How are you, Cal?
You sound great though.
That's just it. I'm not like, I don't sound sick, and I'm not like, don't have the sicky symptoms, but it's like I can feel it, and it's really hard to swallow. So I'm just like,
It's like the asymptomatic COVID. Oh, I don't want to jinx anything. Never mind.
thanks. That's all your fault.
As she coughs.
Because of you.
Another favorite moment, even though it's not really favorite, but it's something that that really stuck out to me, of course, was the first time we see Crosshair just kind of defeated, like walking down the hallway. We saw it in the trailer, but like, if you know anything about me, Crosshair's my favorite of the batch, and I've been fighting for him to kind of redeem himself and switch sides for now what is now 3 seasons, and I kept on telling people, it was like, just wait, and then to kind of see him, like, to see the proof in the pudding that he is just not being treated well. I think they're trying again and again this kind of re-education system, and it's weird to think that they need to re-educate someone who chose to remain loyal. And I think it kind of like points to a larger problem with the Empire, that they kind of caused their own crumbling or house of cards, to say. And then another favorite, which is probably sure is going to match with something that Choco is going to name, is the very phrase, "We created Dathan." Verbatim. That's what they said. Go ahead, Choco.
Oh, I got so excited at that moment. So they have a successful test, right? They had a single successful test, but it was deemed a failure from Hemlock because it did not mimic the M count of the original.
Mm-hmm.
That's Dathan. That's Ray's dad.
Oh.
Has to be.
Oh.
Who else could it be? Because now they have a winning sequence. Now it's possible that since Omega's gone, we'll have to see how the rest of the season plays out. But the problem with Dathan and why he was cast aside is he really didn't have what it took to be a viable vessel for Palpatine. And looking at the timing of all of this, like the flashback scene, the Rise of Skywalker, you have to ask how old was he then? And I don't know. I think it adds up.
The only issue I see with that, because I largely agree, is what do they mean by original? Are they already testing with Palpatine? Or are they testing with another clone? Since in the Inquisitorius Fortress we saw a lot of bodies. Do they have experiments? Are they trying to replicate a Jedi? Or are they immediately trying to clone Palpatine, like right now? That's the question that I have. What do you think?
Well, I mean, since we know Dathan was going to be a body for Palpatine, my assumption, and I could be wrong, but my assumption wasn't that he was going to put himself into kid Dathan and run around as a toddler and stuff. You know?
Yeah.
So I feel like whatever they put it into would have to have time to grow up to like adulthood and stuff before he would transfer into them. And so I feel like it would have had to have been they're taking metachlorians from the deceased Jedi and then using the clones as like a base and then making something viable for Palpatine to tap into. That's what I think.
There's so much ethics. So many ethics things that are making me cringe right there.
Hey, they call it, I mean, even Sidious calls it an abomination. Well, he doesn't call it. He said other people would consider it.
Yeah.
But I think the math is kind of like
natural.
I'm obsessed with the math right now because I do believe this is like 17, I think. 6 months after Order 66, maybe a couple of months more from season 1. Season 1 to season 2 was a couple of months. She had grown her hair out, and then season 2 to season 3 is another 4 or 5 months, or 125 days.
Oh.
So that's like what, 18? We're in 18 right now?
Something like that, yeah.
Now, 18 plus 35.
That's too much math.
Would put him in his body in late 20s.
63, right? Would that be 63? No, 63. No, 18
Wait.
plus 35 is... Hold on.
Wait. Sorry.
Right?
Sorry.
50...
You're
53, yeah.
real quick, Skills in my chat said, why didn't Palpatine try to clone Anakin as well? Palpatine didn't care about Anakin.
I was going to say, Anakin, he's like, no, I don't want that man's face. I want my face.
Yeah, so I mean, the clones of Sidious would be the base for them to strand cast other parts. So that's why I'm asking the original, who is the clone? If they're using Sidious right now, it could very well be Dathan, but he would be 53. Did he look 53 in The Rise of Skywalker? Is the question.
Wait, where did you get the 25?
What do you mean?
Where did the 25 come from?
I didn't get 25. I said 18 plus 35.
What is the year in the future that you chose?
35 ABY.
Okay, why 35 ABY?
Because that's when the sequels start.
Okay, but we were not talking about when the sequels start. When the sequels start, Ray's 19.
So you're saying 25?
So 25 would have been... Yeah, 25 or 26 would have been around the time that Ray last saw Dathan. But you have to remember, that was meant to be a viable body before then. So he left for years. He found a home, got married, had a kid, all this stuff. But the question is, could he be in his, 40 when he said goodbye to his daughter? I think so.
We'll come back to this when we talk about Project Necromancer. Let's move on to episode 1 to 3 of the Bad Batch. Very solid premiere. Young, I want to start off with your overall opinion on the premiere 1 through 3. How was the setup? How was the payoff? And what you give it from 1 to 10.
Overall, the 1 through 3, I will give it a 10 out of 10 because I'm just grossly biased. Episode 1, probably a solid 9 out of 10. So the thing with that, I liked it because it was very little dialogue and it gave you so much tension and isolation at the same time. And I mentioned this in my word vomit review. So there is a concept in Japanese culture called ma, and it's the use of silence in part of the whole. And I feel like the Kiner Sibs used that very well to their advantage because they had some really gorgeous musical pieces, very somber, but then there were portions where action was happening, but no music was occurring during those scenes. And that just, for me, really built the tension. And then we got to continue to see Omega still maintain her sense of self. She still has the curiosity. She still has her tenacity because she's able to sneak away to Crosshair. Then again, I'm pretty sure Hemlock, for whatever reason, allowed it because he knew everything that was going on at Mount Tantus for the most part. I feel he allowed it, which I was really surprised. And then, but then we also see her compassion. But then we also see, again, she's getting Spice back because when Crosshair says, you trust too much, she's like, well, you don't trust at all. Like, she's always had a bit of a snapback, sassy bit, but like she's planting her 2 feet on it. And then we also get to meet Batcher. Like, come on, if anything happens to that Lorca Hound, I will riot.
Good thing you didn't watch our reaction where Choco said that guy's gonna die.
I mean, it's like, I have a feeling
they always kill the dog,
they almost did. And then with episode 2, I was actually pleasantly surprised that they brought back the Durans, but also it's just showing how impactful Omega's actions are and her compassion is, and how it has helped them to a degree in the down the road. And that whole scene with Hunter, him trying to analyze the data, get some sort of sense out of it, and then Tech's fucking goggles right there for the whole ass ship to see every time they walk up and down. And then real Lula, that whole scene just broke my heart. The amount of anguish they were able to get on Hunter's face. And I will be a Hunter defender, not even an apologist, a Hunter defender. That man is feeling guilt for everything that has happened to Crosshair, to Tech, to Omega, and even to a degree to Wrecker, because it's just him and Wrecker now on the Marauder. And that's fucking sad.
Yeah.
That's
that
not
was
a party indeed.
really rough. And also Wrecker being kind of like, again,
He was
the
the voice of
emotional,
reason?
yeah, the emotional, the emotionally competent one, because he's like, Hunter, you can't do this, my dude. One of us might die, and then we'll never get Omega out. But Hunter's like, no, I'm still gonna do it. And I fucking called that was gonna happen, because I know my man's. Seeing the baby clones and just how awfully the clones are treated at any life stage, it makes you wonder what they did to all of the embryos and developing fetuses, or fetal clones, as they moved everything off the Kaminoan labs. Like, oh my goodness. Yay for Gonky, doing his thing, saving the day.
Why can't
go
they carry
Gonky?
him right side up?
I was really surprised about that. Maybe his legs were gonna get in the way. But also, do either of you watch Star Trek, specifically Star Trek Voyager?
No, I've
It's
only
been
watched
years. I
Okay.
have watched Voyager, but it's been
So
years.
there is an episode where a macrovirus gets into the ship, and that's what the Zillow Beast vine thingies look like to me, was that macrovirus. So I don't know if that's what they were actually going for, but I'm like, hey, I recognize you.
It looked like a Dianoga Dringer.
And then episode 3, I knew they were going to get themselves out. I just had a feeling that as much as we wanted them to be rescued and for Mount Tantus to be blown to high heaven, they were going to get themselves out. How they got themselves out was very slapdash. But
Yes.
we stand Nalase. Oh my God, we stand Nalase so hard. And then it's just one of my favorite parts. Like Crosshair, he went along with it, but he complained the whole fucking time, which I'm like, God damn it, Cross, I love you so much, but shut up. But then when he basically told her, it's like, you got us this far and we're not done yet. And then his little smile when she mentions tech. I don't think he knows yet. He doesn't know about tech yet.
Well, here's the thing. Is he so defeated because he knows or doesn't know?
I don't know, because
Because-
the smile.
The guy, the special trooper, the one with the big goggles.
Yeah, Bugman.
Apparently, Choco says he matched his frame with tech. I tried to find a
Yeah.
similar picture to put in the
Oh,
reaction.
I'll send it to you. I know exactly, because I sent it to you, Choco, didn't I?
Yeah.
Because you're just never
Well-
on Instagram. I send things on Instagram.
Tech is Tech skips leg day, and that's one of the clues.
Also in the TikTok chat, not to ignore you guys. I know you guys are having your own little thing happening in the chat.
Sorry, guys. I'm really
you guys are
verbose.
absolutely correct.
Thanks for the fire skills.
We did in fact forget that Shadows of the Sith places Dathan being born on Exegol and saying he was 33 years old when he died. That's not something I remember, but it is cited.
Said that he was 33 when he died. Okay.
No, Timelines dates the Shadows of the Sith to be 21 ABY. And then Shadows of the Sith, the book, says that Dathan was 33 years old. So by 21, he's 33. So he was born 12 BBY. So unfortunately, that puts a rather significant nail in the coffin of Dathan being... But it opens up the discussion to who that is.
Yeah, and but it doesn't put the nail in it though.
So you think it's Dathan version 1?
No, so they had the what would viably create it, but it doesn't mean that he was like born that second.
But it does say he was in the book, he was born on Exegol.
Yeah, no, I'm talking about in the Bad Batch when they're running these experiments. I'm not saying that.
Oh, the
I'm saying
sample that they created?
is. Yeah, I'm not saying
Okay.
that sample was born on that day.
Gotcha. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, Young. What were you gonna say about tech?
Oh, well, Chris Crosshair doesn't know of that. Tech sacrificed himself trying to get information to get him out. They doesn't know. I don't think Hemlock told him, which I'm really surprised of because Hemlock loves to lord shit over people.
I think it's part of the re-education, right? I think like if you're trying to get him to be loyal again, you don't tell him that one of his. I think Crosshair had the most respect for Tech.
Yeah, you saw my TikTok where I made the connection,
and vice versa.
Yeah, but you saw my TikTok where I made a connection that the last things Tech ever said to Crosshair and about Crosshair were defending him.
Yeah.
I almost died. I'm like, no.
That's true, and it was said in a very Choco
Techish way.
I felt seen by that character personally.
What exactly did he say? I don't.
I may understand you. It doesn't mean I agree with you.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't think he knows. So I was having a discussion with someone in my comments.
Master Rids, nice to see you.
They were like, "What if?" So my headcanon is that they meet up with Hunter and Wrecker and they ask where's Echo and Tech, and they say, oh, Echo's with Rex, and the person I was having a conversation with is like, and Tech's with them, right? And
that see now that would match in the trailer, because in the trailer Hunter, Wrecker, and Crosshair are all running again away from the Empire. So does that mean that Crosshair said we have to go back for Tech? Like I think he thinks maybe that Tech might be in some way, shape, or form. They find out that Bug Eyes is Tech.
I don't know. I mean,
here's the thing. We know that they go back to Pabu, and we know Bug Eye Person is there. And who better to stage the raid on Pabu than Tech?
Exactly, because he knows that they're there. He knows.
Yeah.
So he's gonna kill Fee.
He's gonna be the person sent to hunt the Bad Batch.
Yeah, no, Fee is gonna give him cognitive recalibration. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be the most glorious thing in the entire world. And he's like, "How you doing there, Brown?" I was like, "What happened? I gave you cognitive recalibration. I hit you really hard in the head." But
what's up, New Beta?
Huh?
Oh, just greeting people in the chat. Keep going.
Oh, hello, people in the chat. I actually did want to have a discussion about this. Okay, so I know there's a lot of opinions on this, but would bringing Tech back in any capacity cheapen his sacrifice? I personally think no, because what cheapened their sacrifice, because the reason why he sacrificed himself was so that the other two in Omega could get the hell out from that train car and escape the Empire, which they did. However, Sid is the one that fucked it up, okay? Sid is the one that cheapened his goddamn sacrifice, in my opinion. So I don't think him coming back would cheapen his sacrifice in any capacity. It would make us really fucking sad. I think
in order for a sacrifice to be cheapened, it has to be a sacrifice. So if he didn't die and just kind of like cut himself loose to ease the weight of the car and they can escape, that just means that he was doing something to aid in the success of their mission. And him coming back is just like he survived. But if he had his Willem Dafoe Platoon moment where he was shot down and that was like it was him trying to save them and aid in their escape, and he got shot down and then they brought him back, it would cheapen that scene. But again, his fall is very ambiguous.
Yes, it is, and they keep reminding us. The fact that they made us listen to not once, but twice during that fucking recap. What is wrong with you guys? They keep hitting it way too hard to the point where it's like, okay, guys, you showed it to us in the trailer. I don't know why you had to show that in your trailer, and then you show it to us twice in the recap. Okay,
Yeah.
You're hitting it a little hard for us here. If anyone were to know that he has indeed fallen, it would be us. You don't need to remind us,
The
damn it.
episode starts. When did we ever follow orders? And then like later, like a minute later, they show it visually, and I'm like, did you really?
Yes, it's just too much.
Like, in case you forgot. No, but again, I think that is, their Chekhov's gun. That is their. Remember how this happened. You remember, so that they can do something with that. So yeah, I do. I'm now feeling like he is going to come back. I don't think it's cheap because his death was not his sacrifice. His sacrifice was not coming back with him, which he didn't.
And
What happens to him is, just to quote Quizzy, some things are worse than death.
Yeah, being at the hands of Hemlock.
By the way, have you been seeing a lot of people start to simp for Hemlock? Is that weird?
What?
I've started to see that pop up.
What? What? No, what?
listen,
Some kind of deviancy going on.
there's
Also, what's wrong with his hand? People in the
think-
chat, what do you think is up with his hand?
there's a space for everyone. I think Hemlock needs love too.
No. The only love he needs is from a blaster barrel to the temple.
But yeah, as we were discussing, like, would it cheapen his comeback or his sacrifice? But also, like, the manner with which he comes back is what we're speculating right now. Is he comes back,
What's up, Dina?
re-educated or reconditioned, and he doesn't come back and is like, "Hello, guys, I survived the fall, and it's good to see you." Like he's an adversary now, potentially, and
Oh God, are we gonna see him goggleless? Are we gonna see that man with his hairline goggleless?
every time I see that guy goggleless or in goggles without the helmet, I see the guy who plays Orm in Aquaman.
Patrick Wilson?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I always see Patrick Wilson. I don't know why.
Huh.
But it looks like him.
Yeah, kind of does. Patrick Wilson's a pretty man, so.
But maybe, I don't know. Will he remove Bug Eye's mask?
I think he gets shot off.
That's another trope. It could be. Blue Eagle Gamer asks, did they name the planet Omega and Crosshair on? I don't think so. The facility is
No,
Tantus.
we don't know what. Yeah, we don't know what planet Tantus is on in canon.
Acidius says it is vital that this place remain hidden.
I loved having Ian come back. It's so good. His voice is so good. I mean, I like Sam Witwer's cool and all, but like, it is not the same.
No. McDermott is the Emperor.
Wait, that was him? Mm-hmm. They brought him back. Nice.
Why do you think it was so like buttery?
No, it was
the-
really good, but I didn't realize that, like, oh, that's so cool. I really want to get a pint with that man. Just after seeing him at some of the panels on Celebration or like online Celebration, I'm like, you seem like a delight, sir. Can we please go get a beer?
Yeah. I mean, I think recently he was at a con and someone was like, what do you think of Palpatine returning for the sequels? He's like, well, Palpatine always had a plan B. It's not that hard to think about. And you're like...
And he also thought that Palpatine fucked.
Yeah.
As repulsive as it is.
And you gotta think, like, why doesn't everybody have these common sense approaches to this stuff? It's like, of course he had plans upon plans. And and it's not to say we expect people to read all of the Aftermath books to know that that it's coming, but it was there in the writing, and the reason it's not included in the movies is so that it's not. It's like in the opening crawl of The Force Awakens. He just comes in, like, I'm back. you know.
You know what's funny is like Star Wars now is so much more planned out than it's ever been ever, and we still have complaints.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just think it's
Avar
humorous.
Chris was in The Rise of Kylo Ren.
Really?
Yeah. And in Dooku Jedi Lost, they mentioned Jedi Trennis.
They arrive on the Ataraxia. They're on the Ataraxia when they arrive on the planet that Dooku's from.
Huh. Wait,
Yeah.
is Avar when you say Avar is in Kylo's?
It's a holocron.
Okay, I'm like, wait a damn minute. It's like that's a very old.
I mean,
Nothing math in here.
If Avar showed up in Rise of Kylo Ren, like in person, and Kylo didn't say to her, "I could take whatever I want." I'm just.
What were your guys' thoughts on the first 3 episodes? Because I rambled quite a bit on mine.
My thought is that Palpatine should have said, "Good red lasers." Exactly as I foresaw. Everything that has transpired in this hallway is done so according to my design. I thought it was great. We got just enough setup for the payoff, and it answered the initial question we had at the beginning of our reaction, which was, will they escape? And yeah, they did, which is the perfect kickoff to this final season, because like we wanted that to be dealt with or answered in this premiere, so that the narrative that kicks off is everything that happens after the fact, because the story then becomes very claustrophobic when half of the season is dealing with her in captivity in Crosshair. Mm-hmm. So now we have the aftermath of what happens for the rest of the season, and I'm super stoked. Choco, speak.
Okay.
So it just sounded like your girl on Baldur's Gate when you go to speak. Anyways,
Kva.
it was absolutely lovely. I thought the 3 episodes were pretty much perfect for what they needed to do. I feel like this is, I mean, we're in peak Star Wars mode, even if it wasn't the most action packed. Like, the Bad Batch has consistently given us the most heart in a lot of the stuff, where for every action scene there is attention to detail, there's emotional setup, there's emotional stakes to it, and it all matters. Your random scene of her being nice to the dog isn't just to show you that she still has a heart in this like heartless science-driven place, but it's to show you that Omega still hasn't changed, and she's still going to do everything she can. Even if that dog threatens to bite her every single time, she's still going to love it and treat it with care. And then we see how that plays out in the future. Every breadcrumb that they dropped led towards something, and I don't know, I thought it was just done. When we were talking and I gave it a 9 out of 10, and you gave it an 8, I was like, what was it missing? What else could they have done? What should they have done? And it was like, yes, there would be stuff that you would enjoy seeing, but there was nothing missing from that episode.
And after you said that, I changed it to a 9. And then looking at Young's face now, I changed it to a 10.
That's so persuasive.
Joseph in the chat says Avar Chris was in The Rise of Skywalker. No, she was in The Rise of Kylo Ren.
Rise of Kylo Ren comic.
But yeah, I mean, thinking about it now in retrospect, I don't think there's anything else. I mean, perhaps a little bit more on Project Necromancer, but then again, that can always be revisited in later episodes, because we now have the gun of that. I mean, her sample was a success. Like they now have that information to go off of, and the ramifications of that.
And come on, just the time-based mechanic that they introduced,
the countdown,
was so good.
Oh, that was Again, just the way they were able to build up tension in all of these episodes was just so good.
Yeah, because throughout
so
throughout that entire escape sequence, and quite frankly, that entire last episode, each time that centrifuge like went, it was like, oh, is that? No, that's not Omega's yet. And then like it was such a slow burn of a countdown each time, and then at the very end, was ding, like dang.
So good.
It felt like I was watching 24. You know,
ding 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 ding.
So good. One thing. Okay, how are we feeling about Emery? Also, the fact that she has a last name, I thought that was interesting. Also, thinking about it, if she's a clone, and she's like, she's way older than Omega, so she's got to have advanced aging. So she was probably that's what I meant. Yeah, sorry, I don't know where I was going with that. Last name, that was interesting to me. Do we think that's leading to somewhere, or it's just like
her?
You're not a soldier, so we're giving you an actual name and a last name.
If I remember correctly, it was Emery
Carr.
I don't know what it signifies.
Like, why does she have a last name? Why isn't, like, because she's still a clone, so she's still technically considered property. Is
Hemlock aware she's a clone? I mean, I would assume
I think so, yeah. I mean, the fact that she full on tells Omega, it's like, I'm a clone just like you. Okay. So that means Hemlock has to know she's a clone.
If he doesn't know, he'd be stupid not to know.
I mean, he's a dumb twat anyway, so.
Listen, I had... You know, as soon as we saw her as she opened her mouth, I was like, oh, that's a clone. And I felt like not everyone did. So I don't... But yeah, maybe it's because I don't know, she was too valuable, so they gave her a name so she can pretend not to be a clone. I don't know. Do all the clones have the last name Carr?
I have no idea, but to Paul. Gosh, get out of here with your dad jokes.
Vehicle for Omega's arc
or downfall.
Carr.
I don't know. Like, I'm glad that she gave Prison Lula back. I also hope we get to see Prison Lula again, because abandoning for Prison Lula just made my heart drop. But also, I don't know. There's like, I feel like sometimes Omega does say things that, you know, obviously make her pause, but it's also just like she had no hesitation and told Hemlock about the stable high M count. So I'm just like, what are you doing, ma'am? What are you doing?
Also, every time you say Prison Lula, I think of The Office. I'm Prison Mike. Like,
I was about to make a stretch, but it doesn't make sense anymore. I was about to say maybe she was adopted by Jaden Carr, but it's not Carr, it's Core. Is there any other cars in your garage? I mean, in Star Wars?
No. Get out.
After the show.
I feel like there was, but yeah. Also, we may have someone else joining us very soon.
Hey.
Ooh. I do have a hard out at 6:30.
Yes.
So let's move on to Project Necromancer. This we already confirmed that perhaps it's not Dathan, or at least it could be born then, as Choco adjusts the telemetry of his theory. Do we want to say that they're already experimenting with Sidious as a base?
Probably.
What are the chances it's Snoke?
Well, wasn't Snoke's kind of a semi-failed offshoot of him or something like that?
So Snoke still matches the description of like not as much M count as the original. And we know that there were multiple Snokes.
Mm-hmm.
You know, based on what we saw in The Mandalorian, there was whole tanks full of them. Wondering if Snoke was the first kind of sample, other than Dathan, that they worked off of and casted more strands out of.
Maybe. I mean, the success could also just be a fetus. That could just be a fertilized embryo that wasn't viable or like survive. I guess it's M count thing. It doesn't have to be like an actual person and or a live being. It could just be the beginning stages of a fetus
of the experiment, which is what I. To be clear, no, I wasn't thinking a baby was born that day. That wouldn't make any sense with like.
I'm just giving you a hard time, dude. Speaking of that, which is absolutely not relevant to that, but we do have a guest popping in. Welcome, Dina, to
Hello.
Dyad in the Force.
Dina!
You're still muted.
I know. We lost Tina.
So, I mean, there was nothing wrong with her mic. I saw she just had the call muted. But we will.
But it might be a headphones thing. It might be needs headphones so there's no looping audio. That's why the call's muted. I don't know. Just throwing it out there. But
Young is
yeah.
muted. Just kidding.
I like how she has a designated cough pillow. Anyways.
Wait, no, do you want to see my blanket? Do you want to see it?
Is it Hunter?
No. I wish. Hang on.
How's it going, Bull Run?
All right. No, that is still blanket. It's a trick-or-treating picture.
I don't know if that was upside down or not.
You know, I'm envious because I don't own anything of that nature. All of my fandom is like physical toys and stuff. And,
this was like $20 at Home Goods, and it was Halloween and Star Wars. I'm like, that's mine.
Even still, I don't have a blanket that's Star Wars, which is why I'm probably gonna get one now. Just to feel complete.
Feel complete. I know. I need a Hunter body pillow.
Just to get a base.
Just to feel unnatural. Dina, I'm having technical difficulties. Do you have an idea of what is being difficult? Are your headphones like not being recognized?
And Jet Church, what is your question? Feel free to go ahead and ask.
Hello, text and download.
Hey, Chris. Also, Choco, do you want him?
Oh, he's so cute. Yes.
Okay.
You don't want him?
I have 3 of them.
Okay. Then yes.
I kept trying to get Hunter, but I have 3 Gungies and 3 Echoes.
My actual latest edition.
Nice.
All green screen. All green screen.
Yeah!
Still green screen.
Just go on broadcast and disable it really quickly.
I see your hand.
No, it's It's Wicket. I have myself
I
a little
love it.
Wicket.
Need to see what that Irkatat says around the cloning chambers. Hopefully, since I just came in, I'm not jumping ahead. No, we are talking about Project Necromancer. And the Irkatat says, the dark side of the Force is a pathway to many abilities some consider to be. That's what it says. It was never finished. Do we have an Irkatat cipher at all? Like the Arabesh?
Yeah, I do not know. I'm not nearly as familiar with it as I would like to be.
Jackson, aren't you supposed to be like the dark side expert?
All right, so Jet Church, I thought you were going to ask something related to the Bad Batch episode, but I guess I'll ask the question real quick. In your opinion, who has the best lightsaber skills in all of Star Wars?
You're asking him? Them?
Us. The us three in the call.
Oh. Really quickly, That Space says, I have a Mandalorian blanket. It's very cozy. Defo recommend the Star Wars blankets. I'm going to have to.
I do have a very comfy... so I'll get them, and then my wife just has them. So that happens.
It's theirs
but
now.
I have a very, very comfy Grogu. Or I purchased a very comfy Grogu blanket.
What was the question again? Who has the best lightsaber skills?
Yes.
Yoda. I know you're gonna say Plo Koon.
Say Yoda or Maul.
I was actually gonna say Dooku.
No, he's a good duelist, but skills.
Yeah, I mean, if we preface by saying lightsaber skills, I think he has a good chance. But when you talk about the whole package, he ain't winning. you know, I think Yoda blends the Force to his physical ability and stature and becomes a Beyblade. But I don't know that that's lightsaber skills.
I think it's
I don't think he's taking
skills
down
with a lightsaber.
Yeah, but I don't see that as lightsaber proficiency.
Well,
Could be wrong.
here's my proof for lightsaber proficiency. He has trained all of them.
Oh yeah, he's no slouch, and I'm not saying it's a bad choice. But like I think about Mace Windu, who I still think would smoke him in a fight, but I think he's also going to be using techniques that are outside of lightsaber mastery to do so.
Yeah.
I don't know. Anyways,
Wait, you say that Mace Windu would smoke Yoda?
no, Dooku.
Oh.
At least
I mean, it all
Dooku as
depends,
we've
really.
seen him.
We get back into the versus picture, and it's just a whole bunch of, what is the arena? What are the conditions? What are they eating? Is it something that... That was just a question for Young that I saw. Let's see if Dina is ready to take on the world.
And I'm eating green beans. Hi, Dina. Hello.
There you
Yay,
go.
it works. So I've always enjoyed your content, and I saw your Bad Batch bingo card. I'm curious if anything came true on it, and your thoughts on the episode. Also introduce yourself and all that.
Hi, my name is Dina. I'm on TikTok and Instagram, and I do cosplays.
She has a great Fee cosplay, just so everybody knows. It's really good.
Yeah. All right. So thoughts on the episode, and where we're going. Episodes.
Okay. So far, I like it so far. I'm really excited with how everything is going with, especially with Hunter. I hope that everything, my video looks all right. But basically,
great.
oh, okay, awesome. So for the most part, I'm excited to see where the Bad Batch goes. You can tell that they're very desperate to get Omega back, even going against the Pikes, which is kind of ruthless on their part. But also with the loss of Tech, that kind of really got me when I watched the recap. But also with Crosshair and Omega, I'm a little nervous with, now that we know about her M count, and with what Hemlock is willing to do with all of the resources of the Empire. So, yeah.
Yeah. Also, what were they looking at? That's the thing that killed me, is when they looked into the tank, but we couldn't see what they were seeing. That was killing me, because I wanted to see.
Oh, I thought it might have been either a Palpsy clone, Snoke, or Tech's body. Sorry.
No. So, and my thought was, one of the reasons I also am leaning towards Dathan is I can't picture Palpatine looking in there, seeing Snoke, and being excited.
He's just this is unnatural.
It's not done cooking yet. Like, put it back in the easy bake oven. Like,
Give it another 30 minutes. Dina, do you think that Bug Eyes is Tech reconditioned?
I have a feeling that it is Tech, based off of just the height and also the stature, especially I guess going back to the episode with Entombed, where you see Tech kind of standing next to the droid Mel and Fee. He's kind of got his arms crossed, and also the way the clone trooper and the I guess clone X trooper, the way he's standing is similar to the way Tech stands. And also just in general, it looks like Tech, but I could be wrong. It could be there's another clone that I think it might be.
Patrick
Maybe
Wilson?
Cody. I'm sorry.
Patrick Wilson. I have a running thing that Tech looks like Patrick Wilson.
Oh,
without glasses.
Yeah.
Dina was the one that sent me the photos that I sent you.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, Dina was the one who sent me those. Like, eagle-eyed, clocked it, sent it to me as soon as I sent her something else. Like, oh my god. Again, those are not standard issue pants. Those are mom jeans. And the belt. Like, I'm sorry, because the other assassin in Clone Conspiracy didn't have that utility belt.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
How's the music now? Is the music okay?
Huh?
I saw your message about zoning out to the music.
It was just quite loud at the start, to the point where I'm like, I can't figure out the beat, and it's really fucking with my brain.
Okay. My apologies. Well,
No, you're good. I'm one of those people that I zone out to the music, and it gets very distracting in my brain sometimes.
shout out to Connor in the chat. Dex and Download said, I thought he said, sadly, Yorkatat doesn't translate into basic. I'm like, dang, okay, well. But Yorkatat doesn't translate into basic. It's in the Sith language, so still unknown. But he'll take a look. Maybe it says suck it theory. I would love it if they did that. If they just
That would be hilarious.
took those shots, because they know he's not going to go into the to the lore of it and figure it out. So just to kind of catch Dina up on what we were talking about, why don't you give us your 3 most favorite scenes in the premiere, or moments?
oof. Okay. Let's see. Let's start out with seeing Crosshair finally help Omega. He having like a dad moment where he was making sure that she's okay. Or let me be more specific. When he reminded her of the mission, she was kind of rambling on, and I was like, oh, okay, all right, cool. But he was like, okay, focus. What is the mission? What is the objective? That to me showed the first sign where Crosshair is now becoming her brother. Before he kind of just like, it's like, I'm not them, but now he's like, okay, if I can't get out of here, you can. The second one, let's see. Oh man, seeing Palpatine, that in itself, that moment, you're seeing that he's willing to do whatever it takes so that Project Necromancer will basically be successful, especially him putting his trust in Hemlock. And I don't know what their background is, but that moment was like, okay, all right, cool. Sorry, I'm still a little nervous. So my last one was seeing Omega and Crosshair work together to escape Mount Tantus. Seeing her take cover for Crosshair, even with his hand shaking, that in itself, compared to seeing how Omega was before in season 1, she's a soldier, but she's still a kid. But I was so proud of her. When I saw her, I guess she had the clone trooper backpack on, and she was Crosshair had just got on the ship, and just it was amazing. So
oh yeah, that was also one of the highlight moments for me, especially on the ship where Crosshair was boarding, after things were set up and he had to take over, and she came down on the lift. Crosshair hopped over,
blasting.
and then she hopped out into like a ready stance and started covering Crosshair, and I was like, she's a badass now. And they seemingly worked together rather well, and they had
seamlessly.
Some comedic moments too, like Palpatine's hair.
No, again, he was just complaining about it. He's like, "You've got to be fucking kidding me! You're letting the kid call the shots now."
Yeah. And something that you mentioned about Crosshair's hands shaking, and we were talking about this on our reaction about his livelihood, what makes him Crosshair, right, is his accuracy, his ability to aim. And I'm wondering if you guys think that this is lasting effects from the continuous re-education attempts, and if he's ever going to recover.
Yes, with a slight caveat. So I thought it could have been sustained nerve damage from the outpost from frostbite. I could definitely see that.
Yeah.
But I also I Cross was still undergoing the reconditioning, but I think it's also from the torture that he endured at Hemlock's hands and any potential experiments that Hemlock did to him, because Hemlock's a fucking twat. Oh, it could also be residual effects from the gas too. So it's all Hemlock's fault. I'll just put it at that. And I'm upset, and the fact that you already see so much frustration in his handshakes, and Omega just feel like it's getting worse, isn't it? And him, he won't even acknowledge it, because it's weakness, and he's already gone through weakness, and he's like, I don't want to do this again. I just want to be out of here.
It's from wanting to slap Hemlock and having to restrain himself, and it's just
yes,
it's a lingering handshake. Of
yes.
Just
Do we think he's going to recover?
No,
I don't
not
think so.
fully. But what I'm fully anticipating is we're gonna end up with a Last Ronin type story of Omega. I'm not saying all of the Bad Batch are gonna die, but she's going to he's gonna give her tips on how to be accurate, because he's not going to be able to. And so they're going to hit a point where she's going to need to snipe on missions.
No.
And she's going to end up developing all of the extreme skills of all of her brothers.
Okay.
That hurts. That hurts.
Which brings us to our ultimate question. Who dies?
Hunter. Narratively, it makes the most sense.
Uh-oh,
Saying this since the first
seems
season?
to have an objection.
I have a feeling it might be Wrecker, being that the title for the series finale is "The Cavalry Has Arrived," and Wrecker was the person that said that, and it would break my heart. But then also, it could be Hunter. It would make sense. It would be poetry, but
Yeah.
yeah.
When they said
Or-
the cavalry has arrived, I just assumed it was because Ming Na Wen
Yeah.
is in it. But that's just me.
Or here's a happier thing. Again, they go off and help Quinlan and Ventress with the paths, and Pabu is their home base, and they all live happily ever after. And Tech and Fee get to have their beautiful pirate life together. That's what happens. Let me live in this land of delusions, please, and thank you.
No, I'm gonna bring
Well,
it back to
actually-
sadness.
I gotta ask this of Fee, of Dina. Sorry, is Fee?
Wow, that's a
She's
slip.
a Fee cosplayer.
I know,
No, but
yeah.
is this Fee going to be able to shake Bug Eyes out back to Brown Eyes?
Okay, all right. Let's see. How can I say it in a nice way? I feel like Fee will either say something to him or maybe like slap him in the back of the head and say, "Hey, what's going on? I said pirates and smugglers, not the Empire. Why are you? What is this? What is this uniform?
Snatch him out of it.
Like, where are the? I love the pouches. They look amazing, but you need to be back on Papa."
Yeah. I'm gonna make things sad again. Well, probably just for me. But I was wondering, what are the chances that in actuality none of them die but Crosshair? And the reason I say that is because Crosshair, narratively it makes sense that Hunter dies, but also narratively and emotionally it makes sense that Crosshair dies. And I say this because I feel like it would be very, very powerful for them to have done so much to get Crosshair back that ultimately Crosshair makes the choice, the final choice, to make a sacrifice for his brothers and kind of redeem himself for the choice that I'm not breaking up, you're breaking up. For the choice that he made, he's going to make the ultimate choice, and I think it's going to come down to his hand, his problems, right? You know, I think it's going to come down to maybe a shootout or some type of situation where he needs to do to draw on someone to save his team, and
He has to draw on Cad Bane.
Yeah, and he
As a
does so,
callback?
and he loses and he gets shot down, but the others have already taken that time
I
to escape.
don't like that. No, he can't go through all that fucking character development for him to get to be killed because he missed a shot. No.
Listen,
No.
I mean, I'm only suggesting that it could be powerful. I don't want it to
just
happen
be
either.
Painful as all get out. He went through all that character development and realization that the Empire is shit, and he's not going to be special to them. He never was, never has been, never will be. But he's special to Omega and the boys.
I just
happened to
love
Kylo.
how I struggled with the first season because I got tired of the mechanic of like them not just trying to not let Omega die. Like, I don't know how to explain it. That point in her life lasted a very long time. But the way that they've developed that into her full-fledged character now, for me, makes that whole first season so much better because they were giving it time to grow, you know? And so I I just overall I appreciate this show's being given the runway to do that, to let this character slowly evolve in front of our eyes from this person that is going to die at any given moment because she's trying to crawl into caves with monsters and stuff, to now she's sliding around covering people or being a pilot and just being a badass. I think that's really cool. That makes me really happy.
Yeah. Jackson says in the chat, quote unquote, can't go through all that character development. Looks at Tech's dead body. Now we don't know if Tech's dead.
We don't have a body, Chris. Shut up.
No body, no death.
Exactly.
And he could be back as Bug Eyes, you know.
He's Bug Man.
And that is part of his character arc. But I truly think that you know, going as part of his arc, sacrificing himself for his brothers makes some logical sense too. As much as I don't want it for Crosshair. Although this meme made me laugh, is this just suggesting that if Omega had a gun from the beginning, Star Wars would be a lot shorter of a story?
Because Omega got shit done. Just saying. She was a badass and will continue to be.
Yeah.
I still maintain that Omega is in the background of the original trilogy, actually planning strategy for the Rebel Alliance.
That'd be really cool.
I have a challenge for Choco. Or if anybody wants to take on the challenge. If you want to watch the original trilogy and see if you could find a Nick Sant for Omega. See
A
if
what?
you could, so a Nick Sant is who people thought was Rex during the Battle of Endor.
Oh, okay,
He
okay.
looks like him. So I'm wondering if we could watch the original trilogy and find a body that is, you know, maybe blonde, short hair, something in the background that could resemble that perhaps Omega is present and, like Choco said, working for the rebels and doing all that stuff.
Would she stay blonde, or would she do what all blondes do and go like dirty blonde to brown as she gets older? Would she stay blonde?
Well, that's good question.
That's something we would have to choose.
But we would be initially looking for Omega's blonde hair, right? But if we
Well,
can't
at this
find
point,
him,
how old would she be in at least A New Hope? She's like, what, 12 now?
20.
10, 12? No, in The Bad Batch.
oh,
Wait. Yeah, how old is she in The Bad Batch? Like 12? We're saying about 9, 12, 10? A little younger. She's younger than Boba, so like...
I want to say 12 because she's
wanna say
just
12
as
too.
rebellious as a teenager, but not as
She still has innocence.
old. Yeah,
So we'll say
exactly.
12. So 20, 31, 19, 9, 10, yeah, 31? So she'll be like 31?
From
In A New Hope?
by A New Hope, she would be around, yeah.
Right? Yeah, 31 because it's 19 years later.
Yes.
Okay. So she'll be like in her 30s. All right, so we're going to look for a woman in her 30s.
Do you think science will explain why Omega is white?
Racism.
So I said to ask because we did get a more of a spotlight on Emery, and you're like, because I was like, maybe she spent so much time in the lab, she never saw the sun, but like Emery ain't going out, you know?
But I mean, didn't she have some melanin in this episode?
Kind of. I feel like both her and Cross looked a little bit darker, which I was appreciative of.
I feel like they're, as time goes on, they'll notch it up like 2 notches each season or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah. So, as we approach the end of this episode, Dina, I'd like to give you an open invitation to come back next week. See if we can get you on earlier. Besides like giving you like 10 minutes to give us your thoughts, because I do want to give you more time to talk about your thoughts. But as we approach the end of this episode, what are we thinking is going to happen in the next episode, episode 4?
What's the title of that one again?
Let's see.
Hang on, I have it somewhere.
Well, I mean, one thing we have to remember is
A different approach.
A different approach. Okay.
I think this is the one where I thought this one could be. Initially, it was a one-off where they team up with Fennec and Cad Bane on Nal Hutta, but I think that Cross and Omega do not reunite with Wrecker and Hunter for a couple more episodes, because they need that time to develop the Cross dad with his 2 young children, the other one being Batcher, for a couple more episodes. So this one, I think a different approach is probably going to more focus heavily on Omega and Crosshair surviving their ship going down. And they have to find a new way to re-engage with each other after not having after having bars in between them this entire time. That's really the extent of their quote-unquote physical relationship. Either that, before that, it was him shooting at her.
Yeah, they never really connected ever. So, no, that's a great point.
What about you, Dina?
I have a feeling maybe we might see it from Hunter and Wrecker's point of view, because they are still trying to figure out where Omega is. So I think they were saying that with the coordinates that they had from that facility that failed, that they have a certain sector that they have to go to. So just like how Young was saying, that they're going to team up with Fennec Shan and Cad Bane, they're desperate. So they're going to try to have some type of approach where they can find out how to get onto Mount Tantus by any way, shape, or form. So,
are they gonna show up and then get captured, and then Omega and Crosshair are gonna leave and go to Pabu and be like, "Oh man,
we just got out of there."
I have seen a meme where someone had basically 2 cars just in passing, Crosshair and Omega, and then you see Hunter and Wrecker going in the opposite direction. So I can see it happening.
Do we think Plan 72 that has something to do with where they're going to go next?
No, I think that was just draw him out of the ship so we can commandeer it. I think that's what Plan 72 was.
Yeah.
Okay. I think... Actually, that's my next question. Do you think there is any chance in the next episode that we meet Ventress?
Maybe. That's a good question.
How could you see it happen, Choco?
So they still don't have the complete location, right? So they're still trying to figure certain things out. So they might need someone with an Imperial background, or not Imperial, but Separatist background in this case, someone that might know what it is. And yeah, I think that could be her. If they try to use her knowledge, because they already try to use Dooku for information. So I think this could be the next thing.
Could be a different approach.
Yeah, because they now have the sector, but they don't have the planet. How are they going to figure out the planet, right? That's where my mind goes. Also, remember that we also have Rex and Echo en route. It's going to take them some time from wherever they are. So yeah, there's a lot of moving plates here.
Moving plates?
Spinning plates. Moving plates.
I like it. Do you think... now, this is just in general for everybody here. do you have a flashback to Dark Disciple in your bingo card?
No. Well, unless
dare
you
you.
say a Quinlan appearance slash mention, then yes. But that's kind of reaching, so I do not have a flashback in my bingo card.
For anyone who's watched us for any of these past years, you know that Quinlan appearing is the center square on our bingo card. It's the automatic and it's the given. It's who we always
Is that Saw Gerrera?
I mean, yeah. Every single project, I always find a narrative shelf space for Quinlan somewhere.
Then you get an action one in Kenobi and you lose your shit.
Yes. And that was just the name drop. If I see Quinlan in this series, I'm gonna throw things across the room.
They're gonna make him really hot in this series, in this animation.
He's a hot guy, man.
He's gonna be really powerful. Him and Ventress in this style of animation. Oof.
That's why I'm saying if we get a flashback of that scene, because they have to explain, right? They said they were going to respect Dark Disciple.
Yeah.
So we have there's gonna have to be a way that they explain that particular scene. And for those who haven't read Dark Disciple, I'm not being too specific here, but they have to show it and see what happens after the fact.
Yeah.
I have trouble finding a way for them to have respected it without it being a flashback. But that doesn't mean I don't believe they can't do it, you know? I have faith. Much like George Michael.
Okay, so does anybody have any final thoughts on the next episode of the Bad Batch? Do you have any outlooks or anything you're looking forward to in the rest of the season of the Bad Batch? What is the bingo that has to happen for you, if you had to guess? And this doesn't have to be a death or anything like that. It's just, what is the one thing that is for sure you want to happen?
Besides Tech living? Okay, I actually have, no, I don't know, because like that's my whole fucking bingo card and shit I really want to happen.
So if you had to choose one, that it's definitely gonna
Well, that's just
check
it. I don't know. Go ahead, Dina. It's gonna give me a second. I have 24 of these to consider.
Let's see. I want to see Asajj Ventress, Fennec Shan, and Phee Genoa team up against the Empire.
Yeah, that would be pretty sick. What about you, Choco?
But if not that, oh, sorry.
Oh, go ahead.
But if that doesn't happen, definitely Hemlock doesn't survive, and that's it.
And he suffers.
All right.
It's not so much that like he has to die, it's that I have to see him die. I need to be able to watch it and savor it.
Exactly. We need to watch him suffer.
Well, like always, the name is slipping out of my mind, but Trandoshan chick who betrayed them. Yeah, Sid. Sid needs her comeuppance. That's
Yes.
what I need to see.
Yes.
Because also in the racing episode, we got introduced to a character who had one of the greatest voices ever. Just amazing. But he's the one that warned them about Sid. She's not who you think she is. She's not your friend. I want to see him again.
Was he was he Deveronian?
No, he was
No,
the dude with the horns on his chin.
Oh, the
Yeah.
Doten.
Do it.
Yeah.
Well, my bingo, the only bingo, is Quinlan, but not just any Quinlan. I would like for the situation to be that this is the perfect time for Quinlan to show up, but his entrance is not just him showing up. His entrance is Cad Bane going, Gwendolyn Voss. And then he shows up, and of course I lose my collective shit. Did you find one, Young?
Yeah. So here's one that I have no idea is actually going to happen. I need Hunter to hug Omega. Like a legitimate hug. Because that man has no idea what to do when Omega gives him a hug.
Yeah.
And then I think my other one, the cavalry is going to include a lot of the characters that they have helped in the past 2 seasons. One of them being Cut. We see Cut again.
Yeah, Cut.
Like Cut, the Martez sisters. We potentially see the Syndulas again. All of the clones minus poor Mayday. I think that's what's going to happen. It's going to be a reverse cavalry coming to help them.
Right on. All right.
I mean, as long as Hauser is one of those that shows up, then
Beautiful Baja Blast, man.
Now for the final wrap up, I do have a raise your hand question. Raise your hand if you think the Bad Batch is better than the Clone Wars.
I'm getting there. I mean, I know I'm there, but yeah.
Oh, there it is.
Don't go into peer pressure, dude. It's okay. You stick to what you feel.
Yeah, you don't have to. You don't have to join us. No, just while watching the episode, for me personally, I was like, from a writing standpoint, it has this has everything. This has everything that is Star Wars. And in Clone Wars, I get that on certain arcs, at certain parts. Mm-hmm. But Clone Wars is not that, at least for me.
Yeah.
Bad Batch is more mature.
Yeah.
Like I don't, not in like a hoity-toity way, but just more mature in how it's presenting the story. I feel. I've actually been thinking about do I like this better than Rebels? I don't know. It's some days it gets a little close to being knocking it out, but other days I'm like, no, Rebels is still just such a good show. So
no, I like how you put it though. I like how you put it though, because I always see the memes of like, Clone Wars isn't a kid's show, and that's mostly because of like violence or like a dark thing that happens. Mm-hmm. But I can't say that the majority of the writing is mature on it. And that is a difference.
The way I see it, I think the more and more they're finding their stride with how they want to tell stories within a given time period. Because I think the Clone Wars started as oh crap, we're missing so much from the prequels, I think we need to kind of fill it in a little bit. So we got like an anthology-esque type of show where, I mean, even chronologically it's a mess, but like you have different parts of like the show where it's over in this direction with the Jedi, with the politics, and with the Separatists, and then just mission after mission in the Clone Wars, and there's no real overarching narrative that they need to achieve, other than to connect the dots to Revenge of the Sith. Whereas Rebels was largely an original story that was about the Ghost Crew and their character arcs, and then we have the Bad Batch. It's about the Bad Batch and then the stakes within them surviving in an empire-fueled world. And then we have Andor. Like, all of these shows that are coming out more and more now have their own stories, rather than trying to connect movie 2 to movie 3. And I think Bad Batch is just the latest in that endeavor, and we're gonna get even more with the Acolyte.
But it is also connecting everything, like, to the sequels, which I love. I absolutely love it so much, because again, somehow Palpatine returned.
It is definitely connective tissue, but it has its own story, right? It has its own charm with Omega
Great
the Bad
story.
Batch. But with that said, we are out of time for this episode of Dyad in the Force 160. I want to thank our guests, Lothal Youngling and Dina, for coming by. Dina, again, you do have an open invitation should you want to come back and talk about episode 4 next week. As well as Joseph in the chat. Joseph, I did see your message about wanting an invitation to come on. Why don't you go ahead and send a DM to Choco or myself and let us know where we can contact you, and just so we can square away technical stuff and see if you have the equipment for it. And because we do have a lot of guests that unfortunately have a lot of technical difficulties. This is not in relation to Dina in any way. We have guests that either live very, very far from an internet and are just unable to speak. And so we just want to square things away with you. So DM either of us if you want to check out Dyad in the Force next week. But thank you to everyone in the chat on YouTube. Bull Run 27, Quick Poker, Dex and Download, Cal4, people in the TikTok side, Victoria, Joseph, as I mentioned, Cubcos, James, Master James, Aaron, Keithy, Fernando as well in the YouTube. Thank you guys so much for hanging out. Choco, any final thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, thank you everyone for joining. No, that would open up a whole nother can. Stop trying to make me think that live action Avatar is bad. It's not bad. It's not what you expected, but it's not bad.
Yeah. With that, I will end with saying yes. Pay attention to everything it is, and not everything it's not, which is a complete replica. It is a show in and of itself, and enjoy Avatar: The Last Airbender. Thank you once again to everybody. That's it. On to the next one.
For light and for life.
We are all the Dyad.
And may the Force be with you always.
And what is it? Defective yet effective.
Oh.